From the Ear to There Travel Studio, this is the Ear to There Disney Podcast.
The Ear to There Podcast, it's time to start the show. Be sure to hold on tight, here we go. Exploring all the different Disney destinations. Ear to There, it's time to start the fun.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. That's me speaking well. And welcome to the Ear to There Disney Podcast. I am your host, Phil Gramlich. I'm also the owner and the founder of Ear to There Travel, which is a Disney specialized travel agency. It's my job to take away all of that stress, all that anxiety, and all that time that it takes to plan a Disney trip so you can focus on the really, really fun things like having a great time with your family and friends and enjoying the magic. And I take away all that stress, all that anxiety. I give you all that time back at absolutely no extra charge to you. So yeah, just like a cup of ice water in Walt Disney World, my services are always totally free. And they include getting you the best possible price for your Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney cruise, vacation, booking your dining reservations, your fast passes, your special event tickets, transportation, golf tee times, flights, a personalized itinerary, answering any and all questions you have. I do all that at absolutely no extra cost. So think of me as the piglet to your Winnie the Pooh. I'll always be that little voice, maybe a little bit of a neurotic voice, holding your hand or by your side or in your ear, helping you out. But I will never, ever take any of your honey. And I mean that in a good way. Not a bad. Okay. I tried to tie it in because the Christopher Robin movie is coming out. Hopefully that worked. Okay. You can find this podcast, my blog, my live videos, or request your free, no obligation quote over at ear2theretravel.com. This is episode number 133 for the week of July 30th, 2018. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. And we're going to start off this episode like I start off every numbered episode of the Ear to There Disney Podcast, and that is with the What About Bob segment of the show. So each week, Disney legend and Imagineer Bob Gurr comes on the show to answer your questions and mine. If you're not sure who Bob is, first of all, you should kind of read up on Bob. And I'm not saying it because Bob's a friend of mine. I'm saying it because he's a brilliant, brilliant Disney mind. So Bob created things like the Matterhorn, the monorails, the Autopia vehicles, the Main Street vehicles, the Omnimover system, including the Doom buggies. He even invented the King Kong, the original King Kong over at that park that shall not be named. Bob has truly done it all. So to get a question in for Bob, please call the voice line. The phone number is 267-551-1971. Or you can email it to me at phil@ear2theretravel.com. Oh, and just like every other week, this week's What About Bob segment is brought to you by the Waltland Bus Tour. Each month, Bob takes a group of guests around the Los Angeles area. You make stops in Burbank, in Anaheim, and in Glendale, checking out all the important sites in the history of the Disney company, but more importantly, in the life of Walt Disney. To get tickets for the Waltland Bus Tour, just head over to www.waltland.com. And here he is, the only Disney Imagineer, as far as I'm aware of, that actually kidnapped a vice president. Here's Bob.
It's What About Bob? Bob Gurr, the legend, creator of the Matterhorn, the monorails and the Haunted Mansion. What about Bob, the Disney legend?
So how much did Walt know about mechanics? This is from my friend Pat in Orlando. Was he hands-on with the vehicles and attractions that you were designing back then?
Walt was very good at understanding everything in the world. And I'm absolutely serious of that. I just watched the way he worked and the way he did and how he would understand things. Mechanically, he understood everything mechanically. There was, look at how many things he built with his own hands, with his own railroad. Sure. You know, the little Lily Bell train. He built most all the cars, and he did quite a bit of the metal work on the locomotive. He'd take time in the evening. Sometimes he wouldn't go home right away. He'd go out in the machine shop, and Roger Brogy would show him metal work, you know, how you cut, how you weld, form, rivet, do all that kind of stuff. At the same time, you got to remember, when he first started getting interested in mechanical animation, he'd travel to Europe a lot, and he was always looking around for all kinds of animated devices of all kinds, because he understood how they worked. And it always kind of surprised people when we were discussing new attractions, how much he knew about all of the mechanical requirements and how stuff worked. So he could have very intelligent conversations with people that were going to design mechanical stuff or they're going to build it. Not a guy that you would fool by blowing smoke at him to hide a stupid design. He knew stuff just looking at it.
And thank you so much once again to Bob for answering another question on the show. I say it all the time, but I am just incredibly lucky to have Bob on all the time. He's a great guy. He's just amazing with his time. So Bob, thank you so much. Okay, here we go on to episode number 133. Picture this. You've saved for this vacation for something like 4 years. You've put money away. You've thought about it for months or even years. You've planned it. You've paid it off. And now you are going to Walt Disney World. So, of course, you have some thoughts, but not only thoughts, you have some expectations. Of course, you want the trip to be the best trip ever. Of course, you want all of your expectations to be met. And with this show, we want to help you to have the right kind of expectations when you get on that plane or when you jump in that car to hit the road for your Walt Disney World vacation. This episode is all about Walt Disney World expectations, fantasy versus reality. Here to talk all about expectations, both good and bad, is a woman who I absolutely have come to have no expectations of in our marriage. I'm not even looking at her. She's sitting right next to me.
No, you should not look at me right now.
My awesome wife. Of course, I am kidding. My wife, Ames. Actually, I do have one big expectation of you.
What?
And it's to keep me away from new people that I don't want to talk to. That's my
actually true.
Whenever we're out somewhere and we see like someone like, so it's like, that's Alexa's friend's dad. Why don't you go talk to her? Talk to him. I rely on you not to make me do that.
That's very true.
That's my expectation. That's my biggest expectation. No, I'm kidding.
And to call the doctor for you.
I won't call the doctor. That's true.
That's true. That's a true story, you guys.
I won't call the doctor and I won't get prescriptions refilled.
Right. Or answer the door if someone delivers food. There's a lot of expectations, I think, is what we're getting to.
No, so of course, my expectations of Ames are exceeded every day.
Oh, that's nice.
I think that sounded nice, right?
No, you did sound nice. The fact that you questioned it makes it a little less genuine.
It's not as good. So this might be a weird question since we see each other 24 hours a day, but how have you been?
I've been excellent. And how about you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm in a boot.
I'm glad I got to check in.
I'm in a boot from, maybe it's something we could talk about later on in this episode of the show.
Yeah, it'll come up.
But I'm in a boot, and that's not a fun Canadian way to say the word about.
And it's also not something you can expect from your trip.
No. So yeah.
To Disney.
It's about time to get the show started. You know what that was for? That's for Frank, from Ear to There Travel. Frank, I don't know if you say a boot. I've heard you talk several times. I don't remember you saying a boot, but anyway, Frank, that's for you. A boot. You Canadians are crazy. All right. So what we wanted to talk about on this episode is, I get this a lot where I have clients, we have friends, we have family who just have these super high expectations for their Disney trips.
Absolutely.
Right? Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise.
Any of them, yes.
Listen, these trips aren't inexpensive.
No.
They're the opposite. They're pricey. You save for a long time to go.
Absolutely.
So with that saving, with that, I don't want to use the word entitlement because that's the wrong word and that has a negative connotation. But you expect things to go your way because with other vacations that you pay this premium amount for, you're used to getting what you want all the time.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a fair expectation to have.
It is.
But this episode is Walt Disney World expectations, fantasy versus reality. Because sometimes what you expect is going to happen on your Disney vacation,
right,
is very, very different from what actually happens.
Absolutely.
And why Amy's on this one is, first of all, it was her idea. So thank you for the idea.
You're very welcome.
And second of all, because we do this as a tag team. So for the last several years, more than several, the last dozen years, we've been visiting Walt Disney World as a couple, then as dating, then a married couple, then a couple of babies and young children. And
right. We've done a lot of different types of trips.
And we've had our expectations both met and crushed. So the reason why we wanted to do it together was we have all the experience in the world when it comes to this stuff.
It's really true.
So, all right. So what we did was we wrote down a bunch of expectations that we've heard, that people that we know have said.
Or potentially that we've had in the past.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely ones that we've had. And we're going to talk about what you should really expect.
I think that's going to be really fun. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I hope this is really helpful for you guys. Because I think everybody does that. Whether you've been to Disney a whole lot or not a lot, or you're going to Disney, with a new life situation, whatever that might be. Right. I think this is going to be really fun and cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I think it's important too, because you're right. As your situations change, your expectations have to change.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people who aren't the veterans that we are, who don't go all the time,
right,
don't realize just how much you have to kind of adjust your expectations.
Absolutely. You need to factor, I'm sorry, I was just going to say you need to factor so many things in. Like, obviously, are you going by yourself? Are you going with family members? Are you, did you just have kids? What's the weather going to be? What's open right now, what's not open, like things are down and things are being refurbished, all kinds of things. And what's your food situation? There's so many different things, that you have to kind of factor in. So we're going to try to help a little bit. Before you go, this is what you can kind of more expect. And this is what can help you have your expectations reasonable and therefore will be met when you go. Does that make sense?
Total sense.
Oh, good.
And I have a question before we actually get to the list. So I think it's safe to say, you tell me if you agree, the bigger the party, not party like party in the USA.
What?
No, I mean party like group of people. You gonna get that out of your system?
That's funny.
Ready to go?
Yes.
The bigger your group of people,
yes,
the harder it is to manage expectations.
Could not be more true.
Because, and I've seen it a lot where I've
booked
large trips for people, or we have taken a group, ourselves. My parents, a brother and sister, your dad, your sister. The more ingredients you add, the more difficult it is to keep it under control.
Right, because everyone has different needs and different expectations. And, absolutely. You have to it's a balancing act.
So this hopefully will help with small parties, big parties, and parties in the USA. I can't help but make that joke. Now I'm going to say it every time.
Oh, good.
That'll
be fun for you guys.
I'm going to be talking to clients on the phone. I'm going to be like, how big is your party in the USA? That's not even a new song. Why is that stuck in my head?
I don't know.
All right, so here we go.
Our kids love it.
Yeah, they do. The kids do. The kids. Like I feel like Johnny Carson. The kids love the party in the USA. That was my Carson. It wasn't very good.
That's okay. It's decent.
I think I got the cadence down. The voice was way off. All right. So, and then he did the Ed McMahon. Ha ha! Yes, sir. All right. First, this is really silly. The first expectation that we wrote down is, and this is someone saying this. This isn't me, or it could have been me. Well, no, this one certainly wasn't me. Okay, here it is. And act like what? You know what? We're gonna have Amy read the expectations.
Oh, that's fun.
I think this is more fun because
this is fantasy, right?
Because Amy has some background in acting and drama, and no, seriously, and I want you to play the role of the person with the expectation.
Okay.
But the way I think you should
I have an accent?
I'm springing this on you now. Everyone should be a different accent.
Oh no!
But you can't. Don't be offensive.
Okay.
So, like, I think people get, like, playful accents. You can do a British accent, a Southern accent.
It doesn't matter because none of mine.
No, they all sound the same. All right, so this is she's not being offensive, ladies and gentlemen, please. So just...
No, I already have mine for this.
Whatever accent, but make sure people can understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay, don't be doing, like, your Godzilla Japanese citizen from Tokyo accent where nobody can hear you.
Oh,
okay.
I already have 2 accents. Okay, all right, I'm ready. Like, I don't need to plan too much in advance. When I was in WDW 10 years ago, we just went with the flow. That's my Valley Girl.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Well, Valley Girl, I have to tell you, I think Amy's back in the room with us now. I think the Valley Girl stepped out of the booth. That is a crazy expectation to have.
It really is.
10 years ago, probably that might have that might have flown. That might have worked.
It flew for that Valley Girl.
It did fly for the Valley Girl. I mean, now you have to plan.
Right. There's no way you can go.
You can't expect to have just even anywhere near, not even an enjoyable trip if you don't plan.
Right.
Unless listen, if you're like Amy and I, and you've been to Walt Disney World, and you've worked there, you've been to Disneyland, you've been on the different Disney cruise ships. If you've done all that, and you're going to take a trip, and you don't plan, and you're going to relax, do the pool, shop at Disney Springs, resort hop, go to the park, do whatever lines are the shortest.
That day. Right.
That's a different story. I'm not telling you can't do that trip. You definitely can.
Absolutely.
But the vast majority of people who are taking a trip to Walt Disney World take one every great once in a while.
Right.
I don't know, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years.
Right.
You have to plan.
Absolutely, because as you said, that's the only way you'll get that premium experience.
Exactly. You're not going to get, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train
right
2 days before.
No.
And if you do, you lucked into it, or you were on your app 24 hours a day, ignoring your kids,
which
letting
isn't
the dog go to the bathroom over the house, whatever
which
you
is
were doing.
technically planning.
Letting the dog go to the bathroom over the house? No, right. You're planning, but it's too late.
Right.
So yeah, if the expectation is that you don't have to plan all that much, I don't want to be harsh, but you're really wrong. And you're really going to be in for a rude awakening.
It's true.
When you get there.
It's true. And I understand completely that planning can be so overwhelming. I really understand it. Because when you talk about planning...
That's why I'm here. That's what you had me for.
This was actually my expectation. I'm like, this is going to be great. He's going to chime in all the time. But it's true. Like when you talk about planning for this trip, it's not just the obvious planning for anywhere. Like obviously you have to get, your transportation tickets, for your plane, whatever, not just your transportation and not just, your hotel room, but you have to plan I believe your meals in advance. Not all of your meals, but if you expect to sit down in a restaurant, is that an expectation later?
It could be. But
sorry, we'll talk about it later. But
sorry, I was sitting back. I was watching you go.
If you expect to, have meals in sit down restaurants, obviously, if there are, as you mentioned, certain attractions that you're just really, really want to do, you cannot do that unless you plan in advance. However, I will say, once you do plan in advance, then you're set.
Yeah,
then you don't have to do anything, which is really great.
Relax and enjoy. I'm channeling another Disney podcast to there. He doesn't listen to the show.
He's very relaxed today.
I am? I am, yeah. I had a little melatonin before the show. Along with my Gatorade, it helped. But no, I completely agree. You just got to go. You got to plan. And again, this isn't supposed to be an advertisement, but I can plan your trip.
Absolutely.
I have agents that work with me in ear to their travel now. I believe I'm at 5 or 6 agents. They're going to kill me because I don't know the exact number. I forget. And I'm always interviewing and bringing more people on. But the right people who are going to care about your trip. That's all. I'm not bringing on people who are in it to make a quick buck. It's people like me or the people that I'm bringing on that are going to get up. Listen, dining reservations used to be at 7 a.m. Now they're released like 5:30 Eastern time.
Isn't that crazy?
On your dining day. So
that's really crazy.
if you want that Be Our Guest reservation, by the way, it has the new fixed price menu. And it's
right.
Signature dining experience
I
now.
forgot.
But excuse me, if you want that, you're going to either have to get up at 5:15 or 5:20, or you get in touch with me or one of my agents.
Right.
Or if you want to go with another company, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you want to, there are other capable and very good Disney travel agents out there. I am going to say that the people that I brought on, and I will do my absolute best to have for you to help you have just a phenomenal trip. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to sell anymore. I don't like being too salesy. Okay.
But the point is, you really, don't expect to not plan and have a really smooth vacation.
Exactly. So it just can't. It doesn't happen.
I was just summing it up.
In 2018, it doesn't happen.
It's true.
And I don't know how they're going to balance out the crowds. My feeling is it's just going to stay as busy as it is, or be even busier. There's no plans to add a 5th park. It's not going to thin the crowd out anytime soon.
No, there's no plans.
All right, so expectation number 2.
Oh, I have to read it.
And Amy is leaving the booth once again, and we're having another guest come in and read it. Go ahead, guest.
I haven't picked up my accent.
She's such a professional.
Okay, I got it. Well, you did spring this on me. I expect to be in the park from open to close.
What was
I
that?
don't know. He's just one of the very few accents that I feel like
So the Swedish chef expects
yeah,
to
I
be
think
in a
it's
park
a Swedish chef.
from open
He
to
would
close.
expect to do that.
Yeah, he's kind of
Leila,
pushy. He's a little pushy, the Swedish chef.
Yes.
He pushes his own ideals and everything on you. All right. So you expect to be in the park from open till close. It's a pretty fair expectation.
And I think it's fairly common as well.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's very common. I think a lot of people, going back to the price thing, right? You spend a lot of money on this trip. You intend to get the most out of it. Open to close, there are people to do it. I'm going to say, I don't know how you feel. I want it not to be dominated by me here. I think what?
No, go ahead.
What?
I don't know. I was trying to think of a joke, but go ahead.
After the dominated thing?
I don't know.
Just take it easy. It's a PG show.
I know.
G-rated show, really.
Just go ahead.
Man, mind out of the gutter, woman. So, now I can't think straight. I forget where I was going. But I don't know what you think, but it's a realistic expectation. If seriously, this is going to sound a little harsh, but if you're in good shape,
absolutely.
If you have the right shoes, clothing, things with you that you need,
that's a good point.
And if you don't have little kids,
right?
I really think that's how you
or someone with injuries or someone with
special needs,
right?
Someone
Potentially elderly,
maybe someone who's in a wheelchair,
right?
Someone who has a scooter,
or someone who's super
who has
sensitive,
walking, an older person,
sensitive to the weather. Like
none of those people are going to be able to make
heat.
it from open or close.
Absolutely.
So temper that expectation before you even take the trip. Get in a group with the people you're going with. Have pizza one night, or if you can't do it virtually over FaceTime, whatever it is, and figure out
that's a really good
what
idea.
Everyone's expectation is. Because if I think, we're taking a trip and I expect you, Ames, to be in the park with me from rope drop until the kiss goodnight,
right?
You might be like, well, I planned on getting there at 11 and leaving by 7.
In, absolutely.
Or getting there, super early and leaving by afternoon or whatever. So to expect to be in there all day is very possible if you plan it right.
If you do.
And if you're physically able to do it.
And I love that you said, make sure you have the right shoes, make sure you have the right clothing. That stuff really goes into it.
So that might be why I have the boot on my foot right now, because
that's true.
The doctor didn't know I broke the 3rd metatarsal in my right foot, which is awesome because it's my driving foot, which is everyone's driving foot, right?
That's a good
even
point.
if you're in England, it's still the right foot.
It's still, yeah.
Yeah, no one drives with their left foot unless you don't have a right foot.
Right.
Then we're getting into semantics. I don't know.
Let's keep going.
So anyway, yeah. The doctor thought maybe it cracked in Disneyland last month, and then I broke it all the way when I was walking around Walt Disney World. But I know, first world problems, right? I was in Disneyland and Disney World.
Yeah.
In the same
You're not
month.
getting too much sympathy.
Yeah, no, everybody that's listening is like, you stink, you're a jerk. But yeah, it's very important to have the good footwear that you're used to, that you've worn before.
Absolutely.
So
That's a huge one. I know everyone
Don't buy
loves to
brand
buy
new
new
sneakers or shoes and go on a trip. No way.
But buy new shoes. But buy them like 2 weeks before, or at least a week before, and wear them every day before you go.
Yeah, you got to
break them in.
And running shoes are great for the parks. I know that women, you don't think they're the most fashionable things to wear.
I wear them every day in the parks.
Yeah, running shoes you're probably one of your best
and
bets.
Today.
Or if you're really super used to the minimalist, kind of shoes, the real thing. If you're used to it, fine, and
right.
do it.
If you know that your feet can handle it, we trust you.
Right. What I did was I wore Crocs, not the big bulky rubber looking Crocs, but like they were like loafers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Crocs people. It wasn't your fault if you're listening. But I wore those on my feet for most of the trip. And I also did that out in Disneyland. And I think maybe the wear and tear.
You just weren't getting the right support.
I think that's exactly what it was. But so, yeah, if you think you're going to be in the park all day, again, plan accordingly, know your limits, and go in with the expectation that even if you don't do that, even if you aren't successful, and I hate to keep the try to eliminate them. That's why I take my time when I talk.
You're doing a great job.
But yeah, if you, as long as you plan and you know exactly what you're going to do and you're prepared, you're going to be fine. So yeah, am I right?
No, I completely agree. No, I'm just listening.
Right.
I completely agree.
It's so rare that I get eye contact from you. I don't know.
That's really
when
true.
I look at you when you're looking at me, I'm like, I don't know what to do now.
No, it's really true though. And I just wanted to say that if you really when you do have the pizza with everyone that you're going on the trip with, and all of a sudden they're like, wait, we're gonna need to have breaks. I know we keep talking about planning. You don't have to plan okay, at exactly 1:00 every day we're
exactly.
gonna not at all. And don't do that because that's another expectation.
Yeah, when I say plan, I mean do the things you have to do. The fast pass is the dining.
Right. But I would say
know which parks you'll be in.
Absolutely. But I would say if you guys know in advance, okay, we were crazy to think we could do it without a break, maybe get a read on, all right, I'd be cool. I would rather go first thing, then take an afternoon break. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I would rather sleep in, go later and just kind of plan at least that part of it so that when you're there, you guys don't have to kind of fight about it. And this way it'll go more smoothly when you're in the parks.
Perfect. Totally agree. Very well said.
I'm going to get along so well on these.
I'm going to read it next. Yeah, the only time.
Oh, I have for this.
You want to do it? Okay. Amy has left. I was just going to do it to give her a break, but
no, I got
Amy
it.
has left the booth, and we have somebody else coming in to read the next expectation.
Okay.
What are you doing with my phone? Did you close it?
Something weird happened. Okay, now I'm fine.
I know iPhone is a very foreign thing for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
You still use your what is it?
My BlackBerry.
You still the black. You still.
I love.
You're still texting on the Berry.
Okay.
With that big bulky keyboard.
Are you ready? My kids are very well behaved at home, and I fully expect the same behavior at WDW. That is my rich person's snooty voice. I don't know if you guys could recognize that or not.
That's pretty good. All right,
Thank
so
you.
it sounds like every caricature from Tiny Toons of the first
Yes.
people ever.
Yes. That's what I was going
First
for.
person accent. So your kids are very well behaved at home, and you fully expect them to be that well behaved in Walt Disney World.
By the way, kudos to you if your kids are very well behaved at home.
Yeah, really, we have pretty good kids. Our kids are good.
You know what I mean.
So, yeah, do you want to start this one off? What do you think? First of all, your level. This is good. I'm going to be laying the cards up the table, and I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound mean. I don't want to sound judgy. Your level of how good your kids are might not be the same as a stranger's idea of how your kid.
I'm just deciding if this is a compliment or not.
No. It's not. It's not a compliment. We've been there. We've been to Walt Disney World,
right?
With parents. We were just there a couple of weeks ago, waiting in line for Anna and Elsa, while there were parents in front of us with 2 young kids, and the kids were running around,
Oh yeah.
climbing on things,
Oh, that was crazy.
sitting on the chain for the rope, the rope chain,
Oh yes, that's
and
right.
had to get corrected by cast members like 5 times. And the parents were just in their own world, in their own conversation. That drives me crazy. Right?
Me too.
Those kids weren't being well behaved there. I assume at home it's the same.
Right.
But you don't expect the same level of behavior, of good, positive behavior in Walt Disney World than you get at home.
Right.
Because if you've ever walked around Walt Disney World, especially Magic Kingdom or Epcot, when it's 90 degrees out, meltdown city.
Absolutely.
I don't care if your kid is the most well-behaved 12-year-old
Absolutely.
you've ever seen. They're going to have meltdowns.
I also don't care if your kid never asks you for anything when you're at home. Never
Yeah.
asks you for a thing. When you are in Walt Disney World, they will ask you for, water that they see on the ground. Can they just take a straw and drink it up? I mean, they will ask you for anything.
It's so
because
true.
it's just a million. You cannot ask.
It's sensory
There's so
overload.
many. That's
it's
what
sensory
it is.
overload.
That's what it is.
There's stuff to buy, stuff to eat, stuff to drink, stuff to do everywhere you turn.
And it's so
and
exciting.
they're not used to it.
But it's so overwhelming. It's exactly right. It's so
overwhelming
overwhelming
for us. So think about
Absolutely.
a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old or even like I said, a 12-year-old.
Even your 12-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a 12-year-old.
No, I
by
know
the way.
you don't.
This isn't like confession time. This isn't Maury Povich. He's not going to come walking through the door
With like a lie detector test. But
Phil,
no.
you said you didn't have a 12-year-old. The lie detector determined that was a lie. Oh, Maury! All right, sorry.
No, but no, it is. It's super overwhelming, and they're also. Don't forget, you guys, they are so excited that they're in Walt Disney World.
Right.
They're so excited. And as we've been recently talking about this, that excitement and kind of like, I hate to say this word, but like excitement and freaking out are very, very close emotions, right? So excitement can come out in a million different ways and mostly doesn't come out in really, really good behavior. And that's not bad.
Yeah, being overstimulated can
Right.
it can trigger that reaction that looks like pure excitement and joy.
Right.
It can also, being overstimulated and excited, can also elicit that anxiety and nervous response.
Right.
It could be in a kid who never had that experience before.
Absolutely.
Because it's that overwhelming for your kids. So when you're planning it, when you're thinking about it, think about, again, temper those expectations a bit. Don't expect that your kid is going to wait in line or want to wait in line to see every character you see.
Right.
Or meet Mickey 5 times. Or because sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do.
Absolutely.
Sometimes that's all they want to do. Other times
That's true too.
You spent, $6,000-$7,000 on a trip and you're staying at the Polynesian and your kid doesn't want to leave the room
Right.
because they love the room.
We've
Or
had
they
that
don't wanna-
experience too.
They don't want to meet Mickey because they're afraid. Or they don't want to, get on a ride but you don't understand because at home they ride every ride at the fair.
Absolutely.
Or their local amusement park.
Right. They could have fears that never came out.
Yeah, and
until
this
they're there.
this is stuff that we've experienced firsthand. But I just want for the listener to, when you're planning that trip, have expectations that your kids will have a great time. Don't have expectations that they're always going to be on their best behavior and enjoying every second of it, because they're not.
That's a really good point. And another thing I do want to tell you guys, even though Phil, you just kind of said the opposite, but I do want to tell you also, try not to be, this is going to be weird advice, try not to be as self-conscious about your kids' behavior
Oh, yeah. Whoa,
in
without a
Walt
doubt.
Disney World
Yeah.
as you are at home. So even though you're saying like, this drives me crazy, the parents let them do this, but generally.
That's a different thing.
That was very
That's bad
obvious
parenting.
though. Yeah.
Sorry, that's what
So-
that is. That's bad parenting.
I agree with you.
You're on your phone,
But
or you're hugging each other
right.
and not looking at your kids.
Hugging each
I know. It was this specific couple that Amy's laughing at me. That drove me crazy.
Right.
They were on their phones and like hugging and whispering in each other's ears
No, they were.
while their kids were
They're like
misbehaving.
very romantic. But
and I'm like, listen to your kids. So no, it's a different thing. That I was saying.
But so in general though, like if your kid is, behaving in a way that you're not used to, chances are nobody's looking at you because
No.
their kids are doing the same thing, or they're, worried, planning, whatever it is. Just don't get stressed out. And most of the time, actually, if your kids are doing something they're not used to, you'll get another parent or just any other person look at you and be like, that happened to me earlier, or
Yeah.
I've been there, or whatever. You get a lot of sympathy.
You get the nod and the
Right.
fist bump as you
Oh,
walk
my
by.
kid just did that 10 minutes ago. So don't, try not to let anything that your kid is doing, that's within reason. Try not to let it kind of take away your enjoyment or your excitement.
Perfect. Couldn't say it better myself. And we're going to move on because we can talk about. When we made this list, I was like, we both say, do you think we'll have enough to talk about? Yeah, we do. I don't even know if we're halfway through yet. So, and I hope these are the same pieces of advice we're giving, but I think they're very, very different.
Right. No,
Do you
they
have an
are.
accent for the next one, or are you going to just wing it, do it yourself?
No, I got an accent.
Oh no, I saw her. She's acting. She did it. She's doing the facial expression. It's like Jim Carrey. Go ahead.
I don't think we will need breaks in our hotel room during the days. I don't know if anyone understood that, so I will read. I don't think we'll need breaks in our hotel room
Oaken?
during the days.
It sounds like Oaken from Frozen.
Oh, big summer blowout. It might have been.
So this one, you don't think you're going to need breaks in a hotel room during the day?
Which I know we did say about breaks, but we didn't specifically talk about. We should just say hotel because the hotel
I think
includes the pool.
we tackled some of this already with an earlier one. So, yeah, the hotel break with the pool and the air conditioning is it can be a really big deal if you have kids who,
Or
again,
even if
are
you don't.
overwhelmed by the experience.
Right.
Yeah, or if you're just a hot adult.
Right.
Listen.
Or if you're an
one of the
adult. I'm sorry.
No, if you're one of the people that's lucky enough to go when it's not summer, or when it's, summer stretches from
Yeah,
April
it does.
till September, October.
Right.
If you're lucky enough to not go then when it's very, very hot, you may not need to take those room breaks.
But I would say it's not, yes, you're right. For us, we're thinking of the heat and we need the air conditioning and we need to, rehydrate, and all of that is true. But don't forget, as much as we were just saying that kids are so overwhelmed there, adults are just as overwhelmed.
Yes.
And really, really true. And it is really a beautiful thing. As much fun as you're going to have, it's a beautiful thing to be able to be by yourself. Just recharge for half an hour, even.
Listen, if you can grab a cold drink.
Oh,
and a
yes.
snack,
Any kind
get in the air conditioning.
of drink.
Yes. Get in the air conditioning, put your feet up, and watch Stacy for 45 minutes.
It's going to make you so excited to go back.
But you don't have to. This is another part where the expectation comes in. You can also find quiet, air-conditioned spots throughout the parks.
Those came in so
where
handy.
you can take a break. This past trip, we didn't take room breaks, really.
We didn't go back at all.
We didn't really go back until the kids were done for the day. What we did was say over by Club Cool. So if you're coming in Epcot, walk to Club Cool on your right-hand side, past Club Cool, make a hard right, and there's a set of sliding glass doors there. That used to be one of the exits for interventions. Now it's a big, long hallway full of tables, chairs, and couches
You guys, it has tables.
where you can just sit and relax. And
It was magic.
We used that spot 3 times.
I think we ate lunch.
We would grab Mickey pretzels, grab ice cream, grab water.
It was
The
amazing.
tables were always open. This is an ear to there travel insider tip right here.
It is. I didn't even
Use
know about
that
it.
spot. I know. You can thank me later. Use that spot. Then a couple other spots that if you don't want to go back to the room, Pizza Fari
Oh, that was great.
is one it's got a lot of room inside. They don't rush you to get a table. So you don't have to get food there. You can bring your own food in. You can get frozen lemonade from outside, grab a beer from the counter at Pizza Fari, sit down in the air conditioning, recharge. Magic Kingdom, a little harder to find a spot.
a
over
little
there.
bit, but you still can.
Magic Kingdom is a little harder. I feel like Hollywood Studios has a couple spots, but they're mostly right now it's so busy
You have to be
because it's so, of all the construction.
You have to get lucky to get a seat.
Yeah, so I think your best places are Epcot and Animal Kingdom to find those places to cool off.
That having been said, though, I will say for me personally, and this is a personal experience because I did travel with kids, and at that point, and it was pretty hot, so we were pretty desperate. So I will say I just swallowed my pride and would even outside, would find a shaded spot. Usually it was like behind a cart because they provide a lot of shade.
I mean, that came in handy in Toy Story Land.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It was perfect in Toy Story Land.
Because you
so
can't
we would
find
grab,
anything there.
whatever drinks and snacks from the cart. And nobody in Walt Disney World, you guys, nobody cares where you sit. They really don't.
You can sit on the ground, find a
You
shady
can sit
spot.
wherever you want and no one will
As long
ever
as you're not
bother you.
blocking a path, you're fine.
Right. So that's what we did. We sat behind, carts and sat in the shade. And even that was just an incredible break and just made us so excited and so ready for the rest of our day.
Exactly. If you don't want to go back to your room to take the break and take advantage of the pool, then just find one of those spots that we just talked about. Take a half hour, take 35, 40 minutes, and relax with your kids or by yourself or as adults and recharge. It's a really good way to do it.
Absolutely. It's
Okay, I see Amy itching to do another accent. What do you got?
Oh, I was trying to think of one that would not be offensive, even though I don't think any of them are.
You could just do your own voice.
Okay.
We don't have to hear the accent.
I'll just do it like
oh gosh,
excitedly. I expect to eat in table service restaurants every day. That is not realistic.
Oh, do you? No. So that one, I get a lot of clients who want to do table service every day. Sometimes want to do the deluxe plan twice a day. And that's fine. If that's how you eat, if you're a big eater,
right.
Then
if you know what it entails, that is a lot of food.
Not only is it a lot of food, it's a lot of time sitting in restaurants.
It is. It's a lot of time missed in the parks.
You're missing time in the parks if you're in the restaurants a lot.
That's a very good point.
You figure, what is it, a 2-hour meal probably?
Always.
So, the service is fast, but say even minimum an hour, 2 to 3 times a day, you're missing 2 or 3 hours of park time a day.
That's a ton of
That's a lot.
time.
I think you should definitely do table service restaurants.
Absolutely.
Even if you're going to book the dining plan, book the standard plan where you get one a day.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
One table service a day.
Right.
Do a breakfast one day, lunch another day, dinner another day.
I love that.
But, in my opinion, and again, if you're a really big eater or
some people go for that experience.
Listen, the Disney food has stepped it up 100 notches.
Absolutely.
Over the last decade, right? The food is really good everywhere you go.
So are the experiences with the character meals.
It's known now. Walt Disney World's known for dining experiences now. It didn't used to be. It used to be hot dogs, cheeseburgers, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
But now you can get, some of the best meals you're ever going to have on property in Walt Disney World. So I totally get wanting to experience all that.
Me too.
And spend the time in a restaurant.
Right.
I just don't think you should spend all of your time there.
Right, because I think you're going to be disappointed to miss out on certain experiences.
Totally agree. I think we're in agreement, even though that's not a real word, on this one. All right. So that, again, we're covering, it's funny, as we go with these, we're covering stuff now that we've already covered.
I know.
So I kind of, we're very thorough.
Right. We are thorough. But it does also, you're right, because it does harken back to the other thing about expecting to eat in table service restaurants every day is if you expect to do that, you have to make sure that you have the reservations.
Yes. Yep.
Now, I will be honest. I will say maybe every time that we've gotten the opportunity to eat and be our guest, it's because we've been on our trip and the very last day of our trip, I check 8,000 times.
Yep.
And I get one, but that's super lucky. But we also don't expect to do that. That's just a bonus.
We just throw it out there and see what happens.
But most of the time, the reason that we eat in the places where we eat is because, 120 days in advance, we get all the reservations that we know we want for the table service restaurants.
120 is fine.
What did I say? 120? He knew what I meant.
Anyway. Next expectation. Go.
Personally, I expect phenomenal service from every single cast member that I meet. I added some words to what he wrote. Made it very spiced up.
So you expect exceptional, phenomenal service from every cast member you meet?
Yes, I do. I think I mentioned that.
Are we going to
No,
keep this? This is going to be like an exercise?
I'm good.
All right. Like role playing? Now who do I have to be?
You could be you.
I could be Mickey Mouse. That's my mess. That's not a bad Mickey.
It was good. No, it was good.
Okay, so this is one that I wrote, and I think it's tough. Yeah, I do expect very good service from every cast member.
So do I.
I do. I may, it's not may. I know for a fact that I have too high of expectations for cast members having been one.
I definitely do as well.
So that being said, I do. I expect when I go to a cast member and ask a hard question, if they don't know the answer, I never want to hear, I don't know. And that's it.
Same, because we were not allowed to say that.
No, but, right, what we had to say was, the way we were trained was, I don't know the answer to that, or I'm not sure the answer. Let me find out for you.
Right. Or come with me while we find someone
it was never,
that knows.
It was never, I don't know. But that all being said, cast members are people, right?
Of course they are.
They're
and we were too.
Exactly.
Right?
I tried when I was a cast member, and I try as my job now, to start every day and tackle every day with a smile and happy. And there's not, I'm successful at it a lot of the time, but not every single time.
No one is.
Amy's making a face at me.
I'm just teasing. No one
this
is.
This isn't, I might talk a little slower for the podcast than I do in real life, but this isn't what you hear on the podcast is very much who I am.
I can attest to that for sure.
I'm not blowing smoke. Like I really try to be positive and upbeat, and not dwell on the negative.
That's really true. He does.
But it's really tough to expect that of a person every day.
It is.
And because when I was in Walt Disney World, when I do this job now as a podcaster or my day job as a travel agent or an owner of a travel agency, I want to have a smile on my face, and I want to, go out there when I was a cast member, I wanted to go out there with a smile, because even if I was having a horrible day, even if I was having my worst day, there are a million guests in the park that again have paid a ton of money for their trip.
That's really a good point.
And it's not their fault that I'm having a bad day.
That's true. I say that all the time
it's
now.
It's their best day.
Right.
And it's my bad day. But I'm not going to make my bad day make it their problem.
Right.
So that was always my way of looking at it. Not everybody looks at it that way. Some cast members bring it with them on stage. You're not going to get 100% amazing service. I hear it a lot. I read it a lot on the internet where people are like,
Me too.
This cast member wasn't nice to me or didn't smile or blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you can forgive it. Just move on. They're having a bad day. It's fine.
But the good thing about a company like Walt Disney World is if you do have a cast member that really actually is a problem and creates a problem for you, there are a million people that you can go to and let them know. And your experience, can be righted or corrected.
The same as the other way. If you have a phenomenally good cast member,
please
let
someone know.
As two former cast members sitting in the studio right now recording, we know how much that helps. So if you find yourself during a jungle cruise and you have a great skipper, tell the manager. I
couldn't agree more.
Get off, ask the greeter where a manager is, talk to a manager, go to City Hall and write a they give you a form, I forget what they call them now. Fill something out for that cast member. Or there's a Twitter hashtag you can use. I have to look up what that is. But you could also just tweet at WDW today and use the hashtag with the customer's name, and you get recognition that way.
Yeah,
you don't even have to go anywhere.
Right. It only takes like 30 seconds, but it makes a huge difference.
It does. That goes into a file.
It does.
For that cast member. So it's a big deal. So of
that's
course,
a good one. I like that.
Everyone's going to have a bad day, but just you don't. And again, I've never honestly have complained about a cast member ever. I don't.
No, I haven't either.
If you have a really bad experience, of course.
But by all means, do let it be known.
Because they're supposed to be giving you exceptional service.
Sure.
But I think once in a while you can forgive somebody for being human.
Absolutely. I agree with both points.
All right. Good. On the same page.
It's unusual.
That's true.
So I'm going to try to do a certain Disney character.
Oh, here we go. What do you got?
I don't expect to wait in long lines for hours and hours because I'm going at a quote unquote slow time of year.
You really, really have to work on your Donald Duck.
It's Eeyore. Obviously.
So Eeyore doesn't expect to wait in lines because he's going at a quote unquote slow time of year. Eeyore, when do you think that slow time of year may be?
Come on, Eeyore, get it together.
Because I want to know when that slow time is, because that's when I want to go to Walt Disney World too.
Yeah.
Here's the deal: there's no slow time anymore.
There used to be.
There used to be off. There's peak, off peak, slow, fast, dead, alive. It doesn't matter. There's no slow times anymore.
No,
7 Mine Train is going to be 70 minutes minimum every day you go.
it doesn't matter when you're there.
It just is. We got super lucky when we were there a couple weeks ago because the certain local annual pass holders were blocked out.
Oh, that's right.
And they couldn't come to the parks. So we got really lucky that we were there during one of those weeks because if they were allowed in the parks, it would have been busier, a lot busier.
It was so not busy.
Right.
But still not.
And again, you really can't plan for those.
No.
Because Disney will lift those
they did.
blockouts and reinstate those blockouts.
I think it was the day that we left.
Yeah, they lifted the blackout.
Yep.
Because it wasn't that busy in the park.
Do you mean blackout?
What am I saying? Blackout?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I meant. Blackout. I was saying blackout.
I kept getting distracted.
All right, I'm not editing that out either. I'm leaving it
No,
out.
that's funny.
Blackouts. I'm sorry. Blackout is... I don't even know what blackout is.
I think you made it up.
Is that like a Nintendo game from the 80s?
Maybe. It sounds fun. It sounds like
The
something I would
blackout
play.
dates. God, I don't know what I was thinking there. The blackout dates. So they lifted the cast member, the annual pass holder blackout dates while we were there because it was slower.
Right.
It was a dead,
That's
not
a
by
good
any
point.
means.
No, it was still really crowded.
But we were there in Toy Story Land when Toy Story Land was less than a month from after opening, and we were seeing an hour wait or 55 minutes for Slinky Dog Dash.
Yeah, I think it was actually 45 at
I
one
was
point.
shocked by that.
And it wasn't a weird time of day. It was like smack dab in the
Yeah,
middle
it was
of
like
the
1 or
day.
2, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's an anomaly.
No, it
That's
definitely is.
That's not happening every day.
Don't
We
expect
just
that
got
you are.
lucky because we went on the blackout dates. The blackout dates. So that's not the norm. So again, this goes back to planning like almost every tip here does.
It does. It's really
So
true.
you're going to wait in lines. If you don't have fast passes, and the way Toy Story Land works now, which is the newest, and I assume that Star Wars Land will work the same way when it opens. You can and Pandora at the World of Avatar works the same way. You can only reserve for a fast pass one of those attractions per day. So for Toy Story Land, you can get a fast pass for Slinky Dog, for Alien Swirling Saucers, or for Toy Story Mania, but not more than one for each day.
Right, and that makes sense.
By the way,
that
Toy
they'd have
Story
to do it
Mania
that
now,
way.
not Toy Story Midway Mania.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
They changed the name. They took Midway out.
Why?
I don't know. I guess people never said Midway.
Yeah, just no
Did
one.
you ever hear it called Midway Mania?
Never.
The Midway fits a lot better in California Adventure because it's on like a midway, like a boardwalk.
I will say, I
And it
know
doesn't.
if you guys have ever listened to an episode I've been on, I know I've never mentioned that I like Toy Story Mania, but I will even say, even for me, it's even better of an experience now.
Do yourself a favor. If it's an hour or less line, wait in line for that.
Yes, that was
Wait.
one that we were actually
It's
able to
freezing
do.
cold in there.
It's so cold, and there's a million things to look at.
Yeah, there's barely any outside queue.
right.
The outside queue was very small
No, right.
compared to the inside queue, which is pretty large.
And so
it's
cold.
It's
awesome.
ice cold, but it's 95 degrees. And it was literally that one day when we were there, I looked at my phone. I think it was 97.
Yeah.
Today. Listen, just an aside, hydrate, sunscreen when you're in Toy Story Land. Make sure you drink a lot of water, a lot of Powerade, whatever you can get.
Oh,
Give your
Powerade's
kids
good.
Pedialyte, whatever they drink.
Whatever they can have.
Whatever they drink, because it's hot and you get.
Right.
I think the fear of heat stroke, if it's real anywhere in Walt Disney World, it's real in Toy Story Land.
Definitely.
But that being said, Toy Story Mania is mostly inside the queue.
it's
it's
so
really
entertaining.
It's really cute. It's entertaining. The new Etch-a-Sketch in there is the one that
Oh,
they
it's
had
so
at
cool, you
Buzz
guys.
Lightyear
It's so
in,
cool.
Disneyland.
Yes.
So it's an Etch-a-Sketch that works, that does trivia, that does games, that kind of gives you tips for the ride. Really, really cool.
And you can
Mr.
see
Potato
it.
Head's back in the
Mr.
queue.
Potato Head is amazing. But you can see both as a sketch and here, Mr. Potato Head pretty much almost the whole time that you're waiting.
Yeah.
So it really it continues to change and it really keeps your attention.
And he called Amy out. We were walking by.
Oh,
and
I
he
forgot
said,
that he did.
Hey, you with the, what did he say with the glass?
Sunglasses on your head.
Yeah, your hair must be a movie star because there's sunglasses on it or something.
Like, yeah, your hair must be the most famous hair or something
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
really silly, but it was fun.
It was funny. It was probably funnier than I said.
Yeah, I mean, that Amy, just,
I
I don't
love-
have her on the show for the jokes, that's for sure.
Hey!
All right, let's go. Do we have it? Were you good with that one?
Yeah, I'm good with that one. And we
How
have
many do we
one
have left?
Just the one, Pumpkin.
One left?
Yes.
Now I feel like we didn't go long enough. I have to drag it out.
Oh my gosh, that'll be entertaining for you.
So I'm going to tell a story. What kind of
Oh
story should I tell?
God, what can I just tell?
I'm going to tell a story about. Did we tell the story about? I'm kidding about telling a story, but we did tell a story before on the show about you with your glasses on Toy Story.
Yes, we did tell the
Mania,
story.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, when she wore. Yeah, if you haven't heard it, I'll quickly summarize.
Okay.
Not this trip, but the trip before, in March, I guess it was.
Yes.
We were riding Toy Story Mania when it was still Toy Story Midway Mania. And you know how like it's very sunny in Orlando and in Walt Disney World, and you have the sunglasses, and you're constantly putting them on your head, then you put them over your eyes, you put them on your head. Well, we rode Toy Story Mania, and we got off the ride, and Amy said, I don't know what it is. I couldn't see anything. None of the 3D worked for me. I don't know why.
It was so fuzzy. I think
it was so fuzzy. It was so dark. I think there's something wrong with my eyes. And then she realized she was actually wearing her sunglasses. I am not the 3D glasses for the entire ride.
It was a shame.
Her sunglasses were over her eyes, and the yellow 3D glasses were in her hair on top of her head.
My famous hair.
That was awesome. Anyway, okay, so the last one.
I have the last one, and
you need to knock this
I've got
accent
it.
out of the park.
I've got it.
What do you got?
Won't tell you what it's going to be, but you'll be able to guess
All right,
it.
okay.
Because that's how good it's going to be. I expect that I will see everything and ride everything in the parks on my trip. It's a robot. It's the one that I knew I could nail. Come on, that was an excellent robot.
I think people, we should just stop the show right there. I don't even think we need to go any further.
I'm like wheezing.
What was that noise? You sound like a creature from Star Wars. She was like, I don't know why she's breathing like that.
Can you guys see how nice it is?
You expect that you will see everything and ride everything on your trip to Walt Disney World.
I don't feel like you had to repeat that because my robot voice was very clear.
I don't think it was. This is the thing. This is an expectation that I see all the time. That I see people come back from their trip and they say, we spent all this money, took all this time, we did 3 rides a day, we didn't do everything. We were there a week, we did 10 things.
Yes, I've heard that so many times.
Again, it's impossible unless you're there for 3-4 weeks to do everything.
Right.
You're not going to do everything. There's going to be things that come up. You're going to miss a fast pass here. You're going to miss a meal there.
And you made a great point. Certain people in your party, any age, will all of a sudden realize, I need to meet Mickey 6 times. Like, there will be things that
they'll ride Everest and decide that they need to do Expedition Everest 10
They're
times.
just so fun, and they're so blown away by something that they need to repeat it. And that's awesome. But you need to, accommodate that. Because
right. You need to go into it with the expectation that your expectations won't be met. It really is.
That's exactly right.
And this last one is all about, going in thinking that, like we said, with that planner, you have a friend of ours, who had a list before she went.
Yes.
And I don't know if she listens to the show, but if she does, hello, you know who you are. She had every hour of the trip on a spreadsheet blocked off.
Do you know what's crazy, though? And this is not going to be a good point. She said she actually stuck to it.
Yeah, well, she's insane.
And had a great time.
Yeah, but listen, if you can do it, God bless you. But I think that is impossible to have everything planned to the minute or the hour and expect that you'll get everything done that you have planned. I just think you have, plan. But also, this is sound weird because it's contradictory, but also learn how to go with the flow a bit.
No, that is contradictory, but the exact way to have a great trip is plan it so that you have everything available to you, but also say, you know what? We have this fast pass or we have this, reservation or whatever, but you know what? This is so much more fun than what we had planned. We're just not going to worry about what we had planned. And that's okay. And also, like for us, even just this is such a small thing. It's not even in the parks, but I think it's a good point. Like for us, we were like, oh, we'll probably go back at night. We'll probably go and see the fireworks. We didn't ever do that because we happened to be staying at Boardwalk, and every night all we wanted to do was hang out on the Boardwalk. There's so much entertainment. There's so many fun things to do.
There's a tip. That's a good way to end the show is with that tip.
Oh,
if
good.
You've never been to Boardwalk at night.
Oh,
you need to
gotta go.
It's
awesome.
You need to spend an evening there. There is always a magician, a juggler, a sword swallower, something going on at all, like pretty much at all times in the evening.
At all times.
It's remarkable how much free entertainment there is over there.
And there's movies.
And movies on the lawn, yeah, of course. And just, first of all, the resort's beautiful to walk around at night. And even if it's the middle of July like it was for us, the heat breaks, it's dark. Just, excuse me. I had a big sip of my water and almost burped in the microphone. Okay. How's that for professionalism? So no, but I think you really should get over there. And we did. We saw some of the same acts a few times.
And they never got old. They were so much fun.
And a couple of them have different shows. You see different things.
Oh, absolutely.
The one, my favorite over there at Boardwalk is, and I forget his name, so, but he's a guy that balances himself.
He's my favorite too.
On these metal squares.
The best.
Each one is probably up 2 or 3 feet high. I know 2 or 3 feet is a big jump, but I can't figure out. I don't know exactly how high it is.
Right.
And he's on like this board with like a almost like a ball underneath it.
Yes.
And he bounces himself.
It almost looks like a soup can.
Yeah, he juggles like bowling pins.
Yes.
Then he juggles swords. He's phenomenal.
And there's like
and
audience
so
involvement. He's so funny.
Yeah, he does. He spins plates. He does all kinds of stuff. And he's hilarious. Like, he's so funny. He makes, like, if you watch the show, I got to find out his name so we know him for next time. Because you just sit and you just laugh. And he's great. There's another comedian there that does, he has this whole shtick where he has a dry erase board. That it says,
yes. That one's
and it says the word "this" on it. And he keeps taking it out of his trunk, and he's like, "Have you seen this?" I'm sorry, that joke kills me
every time. It's hilarious.
I just laugh every time he says, "Have you seen this?" and he shows the word "this." I laugh, and he looks at me like, "Yeah, that's my guy." Like, that guy gets it. But it's so much fun. So yeah,
and there's like that great ice cream place there.
Oh, Ample Hills Creamery.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. But that's
a great name for an ice cream place.
No, but that's an experience too when you're in there. Like, it's just really fun, and you can do free samples and.
Oh, what was that? The ice cream with the pretzels in it?
Oh, you love that
salty,
awesome. Malty,
something crunch.
I don't know. But then remember the milk and what was it?
Oh, the milk and cookies ice cream.
Now, Phil is not an ice cream guy, and he's not even really a sweets guy. And one of our kids got that, and I've never seen Phil freak out.
Oh, I tried one,
and he deserted my life.
And I was like, "Holy cow!"
He's still talking about it.
It was like huge pieces of chocolate cookie in the ice cream.
It was excellent.
It's actually a Brooklyn-based creamery ice cream place that has a few locations, and one of them just so happens to be at Boardwalk.
So, but just as like
really good ice cream.
Right. But just as like this is kind of a specific tip, but it is fun. So if you do go to Boardwalk with or without kids, you can go, this is what I would recommend. Go watch a couple of the shows that we just talked about, then go to Ample Hills, get some ice cream, and then go to the lawn and watch the movie while you're eating ice cream.
That's an evening.
That's your whole night. Yeah. You're done.
2 words for Ample Hills Creamery.
Okay.
Pretzel cone.
Oh, yes.
That's the way to go.
Yes.
Pretzel cone is the best cone ever invented. I dare you. Don't come at me with your waffle cones or your regular cones or your dish. Pretzel cone. Don't. Ice cream is supposed to be eaten out of a cone. I don't even eat ice cream, and I know this. And a pretzel cone is the way to go.
Fair enough.
Pretzels are the best food ever.
This is how we're closing the show?
You know what? It shouldn't be, but I don't know. Do you have something else to go with?
I just want to say in general,
oh jeez,
we said a lot of don't have this expectation, don't have that expectation. The one thing I can tell you, and I know this is going to sound cheesy, if you are going to Walt Disney World and you're expecting to have fun, you're right on. No matter what, you're going to have fun and you're going to enjoy yourself. So just enjoy it, appreciate the moment, and have a great time.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Way to close it out. Way
pretzel
to wrap it up. Full pretzel cones. You brought it together full circle.
Always.
Ames, thank you so much for being in the studio again.
You're welcome.
On the show. Pretzel cones for life.
Pretzel cones for life.
And that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There Disney podcast. Thank you so much for listening. It is greatly appreciated, as always. Hopefully we were able to help a little bit with your expectations, with which ones you should and shouldn't have. So as always, I hope this episode was really helpful for you. Oh, and I almost forgot. Thank you so much to my wife, to Ames, for coming on another episode. She's been through the Walt Disney World wars with me. So she knows better than anyone how to kind of control and temper expectations. And she also knows how to help you have a phenomenal trip. So thank you to Ames once again. All right. I don't want to keep saying thank you. She'll get a big head. Just remember, there will be a new episode of the Ear to There Disney podcast on Mondays, as well as a new episode of either the Word of the Week or It's a Food World on Wednesdays or Thursdays. Yes, consistency is a big deal for me. I'm getting there. Until next time, thank you again so much for listening. You were awesome. I really, really appreciate you. Have a phenomenal week. Bye-bye.